Hey gang, it is December 14th, 2016, and as I continue to make progress on the 68 Mustang project, want to show you a couple things. In my previous video, I had disassembled the center section of this 9-inch and removed the mini spool and replaced it with a set of standard gears. So everything's back in place and everything seems to be working just fine. There's still a few things to do. I need to come up with a rubber line that goes from the housing right here up to the floor pan where the hard line is from the front. The one that is designed for this car won't work. It's has a bracket on it, and I believe it's designed to function differently than what I have with this car. This one would have had an old style metering block where the bolt went through the center. So I need to come up with a new one for that, and then I'll probably rebuild or remake these hard lines that come out to the wheel cylinders, and I need to check those still. Still some more things to do. As I mentioned in my previous video, here's the drive shaft for the car. When I bought this car 3 years ago, apparently I didn't get the drive shaft with it, but I still had the information from the previous owner. So I contacted him, and sure enough he had it, so I went to his house and picked it up. Now, one of the things that is a problem is I'm missing a cap off of the U-joint. And normally, if I were to have a drive shaft built or redone, I would take it to a company called Driveline Services, which is just south of Atlanta, and let them rebuild it and then balance it and check everything else out. This drive shaft appears to be fine, and I'm not sure if he had this made for the car or not. Being that this old differential was in the car, it's from a 57 to 60 Ford Mercury, there may be some variations involved. But with that said, I'm going to replace this U-joint. Now, there are two different U-joints for this car, at least through the numbers that I found. This one is part number 429 from Precision, and this was available from O'Reilly Auto Parts. And what's unique about this one, or in my case what I have to deal with, is the dimensions for the caps. They should be 1.063 at all 4 locations, and these are. The other part number, 430, which I think is what would normally go here, the 2 of the caps are 1.063, and I'm not sure what the other numbers are. I'll have to look those up, but I believe they're different sizes. Now, I have to use this one because of the differential that I have. The 1.063 fits the differential, and it's also the same dimension in these caps here on the end, 1.063. So if I had a press, which I don't, not yet anyway, I would use a press to remove this U-joint. But I'm going to use an old school method, and I'll show you how this works. I'm using a socket. In this case, this is 1/8", I believe, 1/16", and that's going to clear around the end of the cup. So I'll use that, and I'm going to remove the U-joint using a socket. This is 11/16 and a trusty old hammer. In order to do that, the first thing I'm going to do is remove these clips. So I've already soaked this down with some penetrant, hopefully to be able to loosen this up easier and help it come apart. So I'll remove these clips, give them a little twist so they come out. Now there are new clips that come with the new U-joint, and I will use those. I'm also going to put on some hearing protection, and I'll set this cup on top like that. I'll take and I'm also going to put on some safety glasses, just so you know. I will put the socket, hopefully you can see that okay, socket on the center of that cup and drive it. Okay, that's going to allow that to come off the other side, that cup. Now you should be able to pivot that and slide that out. With that old one removed, I'll just make sure these are nice and clean. And I will take this new one, remove one of the caps or cup, and slip this down inside. Put the cup back on. Make sure it's all lined up. Turn it over. And then drive it back together. And before I drive it all the way down, I'm going to take one of the new spring clips and put it in place, because you don't want to drive it past where that clip is retaining it. So I get that in place. You can kind of hear the pitch change on the ring of the hammer. You take the second clip, get it down inside as well. Now, both clips in place. I'm just going to come back to this side. I wanted to show you this because you can put, if you're driving that in, you end up putting a little bit of tension on that clip, and you can see it, maybe you can see it, it's sprung up just a little tiny bit. So I'm going to come back on top of this. Now that one's flat, and that one's flat. That's really all there is to it. Should be able to do this in no time. You can see that it only took me about 5 minutes maybe, and that's it. So at this point I'm going to clean up the drive shaft, get some paint on it, and get it installed in the car. Thanks for watching.